The Tonight Show. First up tonight, food scientists made an attempt to combine the harissa vine with the enchilada bush. The results were exciting, terrifying, and tasty. Do you believe in fairies? Do they have tiny furniture? Can you be trapped amongst them if you walk into a circle of mushrooms? Find out tonight at News at 11. Local vampire forced to choose between riding his bike during the daytime or getting eaten by the tiny insect vampires of the night. As of right now, the vampire is leaning towards his own blood-sucking brethren. And now it's time for a Jason report. What could it possibly be?
Thank you, Danielle. And now for the book report. It's an all too common view that book reports are tedious and uninteresting, but I hope to dispel that myth today. For instance, take this book. You might notice that this book is a pretty decent sized book. Also, it's very hard in nature. Has many pages of paper in it with some sort of writing. Not all books come with a cover, but some do. This is an excellent candidate for a book. Some are a little smaller, not so hard on the outside. Some even have a centerfold map. But before you think that books are just large or small, consider that they might be tiny. It does seem very common that they are rectangular shaped, though. Some books have many pictures in them. Some books are even tomes of artistic treasures. Let's see what is at the bookmark. Some books are thicker and have thin pages, because otherwise they would be double thicker. Books such as these could also be used as a lifting weight or pedestal to elevate some item within your household. Some books are instructional and come with compact discs. Whatever happened to the standard disc? Some books are actually just secret compartments. Some books you'll never read. 10,000 years crammed into this book. Some books are extra long and often exist as decoration upon coffee tables. You might even find a 4-leaf clover in it. That's it for the book report. I hope you've enjoyed it. Back to you, Danielle.
Jason, your knowledge on books is quite astounding. Next up, we have a new Danielle Tries, followed by a music video from Nightshade. Welcome to another Danielle Tries. Today I'm going to be working on a cork board or cork table mat thing. I'm not sure yet what it's going to end up being, but there are corks involved. And I have a mat board, and I have an X-Acto knife, I have glue, and I have a crap ton of corks. Let's do this. I don't know why so many craft projects suggest that you use hot glue, because hot glue is utter trash. You only use hot glue if you don't want whatever you're doing to be permanent, which is fair. In some instances you don't, but I would like my corks to stay on the board, so we're not going to use hot glue, we're going to use tacky glue because it's going to have a fighting chance. Okay, we're going to throw all of our corks out here and start organizing, because we want to make sure that we have corks that are relatively the same height, not too far off from each other. Length difference is okay, because frankly you don't know what's going to happen when you start doing a creative design. You might need different lengths. So we're just going to make sure that we have enough to cover the entire board, and look at that magic. Okay, now that I know I have the right amount of corks, we're actually going to try for a design. And just know that you're always going to have to do some adjustments once you get going, and it's okay, because that's what an X-Acto knife is for. Ah, the tediousness of gluing all of these corks down now is wonderful. Still a little bit better than using hot glue if you add a brush in with your tacky glue, but still very tedious no matter what. Good job, Danielle. And this is where the horror movie starts, not just because I'm wearing gloves, but also because I've never worked with this stuff before. but it's some casting stuff, and it's a 50-50 mixture, so I guess there's a 50-50 chance that I'm gonna get this right or wrong, and you can guess what happened the first time. But it is like a horror movie where you're walking into the school and everything's all peachy and fine, and then suddenly overcast happens, and then somebody turns into a werewolf and you don't know why, and you're all trapped there. This was that project because I ran out of the resin, and also it started sinking down into the corks and bleeding out. And of course, when this stuff bleeds out, it attaches to the cardboard that I put under it for safety, which now means that I have to detach that. But before I do that, I'm going to try to close up the holes so that when I try this again, it is less of a horror movie than it was before. And I'm gonna use the hot glue gun that I hate so much because it's not a permanent solution, and I just want to close up the holes for a short period of time. And we'll see if this works. Yes, this is delightfully stuck to my project. So now we're gonna begin trying to remove it. Trying to remove the villain from the awful horror movie that we're in. And an X-Acto knife sort of does some things. It's still challenging, but it does get some of it off, and then I resort to just ripping some of it off, which raises my hopes and then dashes them at one point. And eventually I get the bulk off. I start using a little bit of scissors. Scissors seem to be working, and then, yeah, definitely broke a pair of scissors, and now I have 2 letter openers. But we got the bulk off of the thing, so that's good. Now we're gonna use a jigsaw because I don't know what else to do. And this is my first time using a jigsaw, so now we're really going into the horror movie. The villain is coming at me, and I'm using this power tool to defend myself. And ultimately, it breaks. Of course it breaks with dramatic music. But I have a can-do attitude, and I am trying not to die, so I fix it, and I go back to the problem at hand. Now this is the point in the movie where everything seems to be wrapping up, but it can't possibly be wrapping up because you're only a third of the way through. Yeah, because we still have to put this cast back on, and everything seems to be okay at first, and it's looking good. But then everything starts to leak again, and it's another problem, and the villain is coming back, and we're getting attacked again, but we're trying to cover the corks and make sure that everything's gonna look good in the end, and control some of the flow that's happening, and make sure that the monsters don't get us. And we're mildly successful at this. We're good enough that we get out, the main people are alive that need to be alive in this movie. And there you have it, a very passable corkboard tray thing that we can put stuff on.
Distractions. Trying to get my voice heard. Oh look, there's a pretty bird. Crushing depression surrounds me. But tell me about your favorite tea. I don't know what I'm going to do. What you are going to do. There's just too much around me, so askew. Everything is askew. Distractions. Gonna check the mail, gotta make the bed, got a package there, hey I need some thread. Open Facebook, where'd the time go? Need to write a song, hey I gotta go. I don't know what I'm going to do. What you are going to do. There's just too much around me, so askew.
what you are going to
There's
do.
just too much around me, so askew.
Everything is askew.
Distraction.
Distraction.
Distraction. I'm out of time and I can't take a break. I'm doing too much and I made a mistake. Distraction.
Distractions.
Distraction.
Well, that's all we have for you tonight, folks. Make sure to follow us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and check out our Patreon for lots more content and for more information on how to get on the news. And don't forget to subscribe on YouTube.
That wasn't news coming to you on NTV, The Tonight Show.
Check out our Patreon.
Check out her Patreon.
What,
I hope
what
Danielle
accent was
figures
that?
out what she needs to
Book
do.
reports.
All
are
that distraction looks
tedious.
very anxiety-inducing. So tune in next week for another show that's hopefully less distraction-worthy. And check out Patreon.
Well, I can't say that was informative.